everyone, and welcome to the Indie Author Life Show, a space dedicated to sharing the unique stories of authors and creatives within the self publishing space. My name is MG Hunt, and today I'm here with the wonderful indie author E.Solofoni to chat about her writing life. Thank you so much for joining me here today, Ellie. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for inviting me. I've been like really excited, and I've actually watched like a couple of clips of
Oh my
interviews that you've
God.
done like on your social media, like of different authors, like sort of prepping for this because I'm like, oh, I've never really done something like this before,
Oh,
but yeah,
really?
it's
You've
exciting.
you've never done anything like this before. That's really interesting.
Yeah, because I
Mm.
typically don't go out of my way to be like,
Yeah.
hey guys,
Hmm.
check me out, sort of
I
thing.
know. Well, that's the other
It's kind of
thing.
awkward, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can be. It
Mm,
is kind of
mm,
like a weird thing to kind of pivot and go, okay, we're so used to writing our books in our own
mm, mm,
studies or computer rooms and
mm,
just facing the computer and not really interacting with other people. But it's
mm,
becoming more and
mm.
more common to see people in the indie author space jump on the podcasts and have a chat and, kind of have to learn to promote themselves.
Exactly. Like,
Mm.
a lot of like including myself obviously, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but like a
Mm.
lot of authors are actually like introverts.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so we write our whole book and we're like, "Yes, I've done my
It's all I
book."
gotta
And then
do.
suddenly it's like, "Oh, I have to market this. Oh,
Yeah.
I got to go out there and be like, "Hey guys,
I gotta be an
um my
entity.
book is yeah,
Mm.
my book is done and it's
And
worth
buy it.
checking out. Please check it out, please." And
My
yeah,
God.
it's been
Yeah.
a yeah, it's been
Yeah.
such an experience learning to do that as
Yeah.
well because there's
Yeah.
so many things to learn
Yeah.
and so many things to do. It's just I think people
Yeah.
like for me, I was a little bit naive, but at the same time, I understood what I had to do, but it's the
Yeah.
willingness to do it and to put yourself out
Yeah.
there.
It's really hard. It's just really like there's no other way to describe it. It just doesn't come
Mm,
natural, I think, and it is a skill
mm,
that you
mm,
kind of just have to learn on the
mm.
job. Um,
Yes.
there's no other way to describe it really, but
Yeah.
we'll get into that a little bit further on
Oh.
because it is very interesting that you bring that up. But
Mm,
to begin our chat today, I'm wondering if you can give us an insight into yourself, your
mm,
background, and where you
mm,
grew up.
mm. Yeah. So my first name is a little bit complicated, which is why I normally just do E.Solofoni, and there's other reasons for that as well. But like my name is Ella Siva, so I actually have an Islander background. So I'm actually my parents are both Tongan,
Yep.
and so we immigrated to my parents immigrated to New Zealand, so that's where I was born actually. So I was born in New Zealand,
Yeah.
and then my whole family immigrated to Australia when I was like about 2 or 3 years old,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. And I am number four
Oh,
in six children.
wow. Big
So
family.
yeah, my
Mm.
parents didn't have any hobbies, but anyways, so we have we have I have five brothers and sisters, and yeah, so grew up in a very busy, noisy household, and my parents were always working,
Yeah.
and so typically, like my older siblings would just look after the younger siblings, sort of thing, because um yeah, it's kind of hard when you have six kids and you just immigrated, really. And so,
It's crazy.
my parents took whatever jobs came to them,
Yeah.
which I'm really thankful for. Like it was like obviously very, very hard for them.
Mm.
And so I actually spent a lot of my time growing up like just reading books.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I really got into reading with Harry Potter when I was around about 7 or 8. I
Yeah.
got really into reading, and I actually was a terrible reader when I was a little kid. But when I picked up Harry Potter and I got really obsessed and
Yeah.
into it, I learned how to read really, as in like you learn the basics from school. It's
Mm,
like you sound out these words. So when the
mm.
word's really big, you break it up and sound it out, sort of thing, based on like what you know from the alphabet, how they tell you how to pronounce letters. Because my parents didn't really speak English that well.
Yep.
So yeah, but anyway, so
Mm.
there's probably like a lot of words that I'll still actually there is a lot of words I'll still pronounce terribly because I learnt them from reading. So I just
Mm.
learnt to break them up reading, and I never really asked people how you pronounce it and stuff
Oh,
like that.
interesting.
But yeah, so reading lots and lots
Wow.
and lots of books,
The power of
and just
reading.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
reading is amazing.
Yeah.
Like it breaks my heart sometimes to see, you know,
Mm.
with how the modern age is that you have so many kids like brain rotting
Yeah.
on social media. They're just
Mm.
scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
yeah, I think if I lived in this age as a little kid, I wouldn't have had such a wonderful experience reading so many books. Like I got into
Absolutely.
reading, I
Mm.
was trying to finish reading like Great Expectations when I was like in year five or
Oh my
something.
God. Wow.
I
You were
I
trying
did not
though.
finish it. I did not finish it. I got halfway through
Okay.
and I was like,
Wow. Halfway through.
and and I was like, this is too boring. I'm like, what, 11 or something? And I'm like, what am I
Look,
reading about?
that's so fine. I think
The
how many
struggles
11
of
year olds?
adults?
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't think they
Like,
would
I don't
really
understand
care.
this.
No, no. But you tried because you had a passion for
Yeah.
reading. You had a passion to give it a
Yeah.
go. So that is
Yeah.
really, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's just because, like, there's so many worlds within
Yeah.
books. And I just
Mm.
really loved exploring and imagining like these worlds. And I felt like I was living in them and I would like live them out in my head.
Yeah.
I was a strange sort of kid. I
Mm.
didn't realize, but like I recently, like last year, got diagnosed with ADHD.
Hmm.
And a lot of the things I struggled with as a younger kid, which was around that like primary school age,
Yeah.
was because I had ADHD, but I didn't realize
Yes.
that. So I actually didn't
Mm.
have many friends.
Yeah.
And I
Hmm.
actually didn't mind that because I used to spend all day just daydreaming.
Just
So
daydreaming.
I would just dream about different like stories, like the ones I read, or I make up my own stories, and
Yeah.
I'd walk around school just daydreaming
Yeah.
about living out these stories and imagining these big ideas
How
and stuff.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that was
Yeah.
a marker for like ADHD.
You just don't
Like I
realize
yeah.
it. Yeah, when you're a
Yeah.
kid, like, oh,
Yeah.
why don't I want to engage with other children in that way? Why am
Yeah.
I happy to
Yeah.
just do my own thing? And look, I
Yeah.
very much relate to your childhood in that way of just
Mm,
wanting to do my own thing and daydream. And I think there is something
mm,
powerful to that I hope doesn't get lost in the noise of the expectation or the pressures of social media being around and the fact that
mm.
we do have a social media ban here until I think you're
Yes.
16. Is that right?
Yes, it's 16.
I do
Yeah,
think it's a net positive overall because, and I
I
know
do
that
think so
might be
too,
a
yeah.
bit like controversial to say because not
Mm,
everyone agrees, but what I would argue is that social media really does suck creativity out of your space of just sitting and thinking. And I feel like that,
mm,
being in
mm.
my 30s, I'm not a kid anymore, but I
Yeah,
still feel like there is this noise that social media has kind of just proliferated in my brain that I could have otherwise
yeah.
used to just sit and daydream. So yeah, yeah. Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
I
mm,
agree so much with that actually,
mm.
because yeah, we're like around about the same age then,
Yes,
because I'm in my
yes.
30s as well.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, I find myself like my brain goes numb when I'm on
Yeah.
social media. And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm not doing what I used to do, but I'll just sit there and I'll imagine like characters in my
Exactly.
story and
Yes.
brainstorming stuff.
When you're
Like there's no
commuting, all of
longer,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. There's no longer
Mm,
that sort of stillness or that quiet I used to have
yeah.
where I would actually listen to like my inside sort of
Yes.
like you have like an inside voice,
Yeah, the
like sort of
inside,
imagining, like narrating
yeah.
sort of stories in your
Yes.
head. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's no time to really sit there
Yeah.
and
Or it's just
actually consult
lessened.
that. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
It's not as like present as it used to
Yeah.
be where, yeah.
Well, it just
Yeah. So
feels
do you
like
find that as well?
absolutely. Oh,
Mm.
sorry, my cat's here. She'll make an appearance
Oh, I've got a
sometimes.
cat
Yeah.
too,
Oh,
but
do
he's
you?
hiding somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
this.
hiding somewhere. Oh, she's a beautiful color.
Oh, thank you. I'll
Oh,
try and bring her up so that, and she won't like to be picked up, but this is
oh,
Stella.
I love
Yeah, she
that.
has to make an appearance, bless
Stella.
her.
She's got
Uh,
the grumpy cat face.
yeah,
I
she
love
does. She does
it.
have a bit of
It's
a
so
stink face.
good. I love it. It's
Stella.
so good.
Yes, so oh here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course has to
Oh, showing
really
the butt off.
showing the butt.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. I'm glad you
No,
like cats
oh, I'm
though.
not offended. I
Come
love
on,
cats. Yeah.
don't get on the microphone. Oh my goodness, you're being such a
She's like,
turd.
why aren't you paying attention to me?
Absolutely. She will come and then she won't at the same time, but today she must know that you like cats too, and you've got a cat,
Oh,
so
there you go. Yeah,
so
I do have a cat. Yeah.
she can sense the good vibes. But
Yeah.
yes, I just find that like one thing I'm conscious about doing, sorry, she's moving the computer, I'll pop her down.
No, that's totally fine.
Is when I'm waiting in line somewhere, or when
Mm,
I'm maybe waiting for the bus or catching public transport, I will really try not to scroll on social media or on my phone because I do see that, other people are, but I just want to sit and be present. I just want to like just sit and think. But it's just interesting how I have to make
mm.
a conscious effort to do that. While
Yes.
as
Yes.
before, it wouldn't feel that hard to get into that space. But anyway, that could be for a
Yes.
myriad of reasons when life gets in the way
Oh,
and all that. So,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, no, I
that's
get you. Because, like,
mm,
as a kid, like, I
mm,
didn't have any other concerns. So
yeah,
I would just easily just sort of slip into,
yeah,
like, this imaginative world and stuff. And I
yeah,
just, like, yeah, would create my own stories in my head and stuff like that. And
absolutely.
I ended up writing some of those things. And obviously,
Exactly. Yeah.
obviously, a lot of those are scrapped because as a kid, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is brilliant. This is so cool,
But
sort
it's
of thing.
all
And then you,
learning. Yeah,
yeah,
it's all part of
exactly.
the process. And yes, you look at your ideas and you go, "Oh, yeah, okay, that was not great." But that's part of your learning to be discerning about what actually makes a good story. And when
100%.
I'm designing, because my day job is a graphic designer, it's always
That's so
good.
cool.
Oh, yeah, that's just another tidbit about my life. But when I was studying graphic design, the advice that we got was just like, it's good to look back at your old artworks and designs and cringe a bit because it means that you've
Mm,
learnt. So you're just going, you know
yeah.
what? This is where I was then. Now here I am. So
Mm,
that's the same for rough drafts
mm.
with your writing too, especially as a kid. Like those are so special that you have drafts and all
Yeah.
that stuff when you wrote as a kid.
Yeah, I did throw them out, but but you read through them and
Yep.
they're so cringe, but also, oh my goodness, I could
Yeah.
not spell.
Oh,
Because like I told you, I was learning from reading. And so
yeah, yeah,
and sounding out, right?
yeah,
So like I'll sound out words and write them. And I'm like,
yeah.
wow, my
Wow.
my I thought I was on top of my English back then, but wow, it's
That's
shocking.
okay.
Like
You know what? It's hard. English is
it's the
hard.
learning. It is
English
because
is
it's
really
just a
hard.
combination of
Mm,
random like
it is.
European languages shoved
That's right.
together, and it's
Exactly.
just like
So
yeah, like I'm
give,
thinking a
yeah.
big word I think of that I struggled as a kid with was like maneuver,
Oh,
like I like
maneuver. Mm, I
maneuvering
don't
and
even
stuff, and I'm
know.
like
I'm not good at spelling either. I don't even know. Like,
yeah,
really, I don't know. I just know I got a lot of stories that I want to tell, and that's
yeah,
the.
exactly. And that is actually one thing I'm thankful for
Mm,
technology, that it has
mm.
spell check.
Yes. Yes. I use it all the
Spell
time.
checks,
I use it all the
yeah,
time. No shame,
so
no
good.
shame, because I'm not, yeah, spelling was not my strong suit when it came to
Yeah.
English
No,
and
no,
things
no, I
like
get
that.
you. I get you.
No,
Yeah, because
absolutely. Yeah,
they have a lot of these like sort of spelling rules in English, like
yes.
I before E, but that's not true
That's not
because there's
true.
so many
That's
words
not
where
true.
I is not before E.
Get rid of that rule. Get rid of that rule.
Yeah,
Whoever made that rule, it doesn't apply. Anyone who's learning English, that just be
yeah.
no, don't take that.
Yeah, literally. No,
Oh
it's
my
not true.
goodness.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So if we get back to maybe your writing
Oh, sorry.
process
Yeah.
and how, no, it's all good, and how that might look like in
Mm,
your schedule, can you give us a bit of an
yeah.
insight into your writing schedule and how that might look like for a week or maybe what it looks like in
Mm.
every day?
Yeah, in actuality, like, this is like actually one of my weaknesses is to be really disciplined with fitting in writing
Mm-hmm.
because I actually live like an hour and a half drive away from work. And
Ah,
so every day is like 3 hours of commuting,
commute.
really. Yeah. So the traffic is like terrible enough to be an hour and a half because
Yeah.
I live in like Western Sydney sort of
Yeah.
area. And I work, however, in like North Sydney, which is like, you have the city and then
Mm,
you have North Sydney.
yeah.
And so I'm
Yeah.
like in Western Sydney, traveling past the city into North Sydney for work. And
Oh.
yeah, so it's like really hectic. And so, yeah, one of my
Ah,
biggest weaknesses is actually being disciplined with fitting in the writing schedule. And
it's
I guess that's the
hard.
reality, right? Like,
That's it.
because being an indie author, you still got to
Mm.
work, like work. Uh, I like to joke with other indie author friends, my real job,
Yeah, 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 yeah. The
where
real
it's
job,
the
the real
job
job.
that pays for my dream job.
That's exactly it. But I
Yeah.
had a conversation with a friend of mine
Mm,
because she was saying
mm,
how she's like, one day like my dream is to do writing full time. And in my mind,
mm,
I was just like, you know what? I think we got to change our mindsets because it's like if we
mm.
are committed to writing,
Yeah.
then we are
Yeah.
doing it full time. Like it's a full-time
Yes,
commitment. So you're
it
already doing
is.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly. You are already doing a dream job. Yeah. The hard
yeah,
part is just funding it.
that's right. It does take, yeah, it's something that, look, if you can fund it, self-fund it
Mm,
through the
mm,
your sales that you generate through
mm,
the art
mm,
form, that's amazing. But it is not
mm.
necessarily common in the
No, yeah,
indie publishing
exactly.
world. And even if you
Yeah.
are traditionally published,
Even if you, yes, traditionally
yes.
published too. Like you
Mm,
actually, I know so
mhm.
many traditional authors who still have to work a real job.
A real
Yeah.
job, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And so is
Yeah.
do you work like full time in the week or your hours are similar to like I don't
Mm.
know what the standard would be like. What's full time? Like 40 hours a week or something like that? Or you can break
Um,
it up.
so So I actually work 4 days a week, and
Yep.
I typically have like my Wednesday off. And my
Hmm.
Wednesday, I used to actually devote that to a lot of writing. Um,
Yeah.
at the moment, I'm in a bit of a lull, actually. When you
Yes.
get into the
Yep.
writer's block sort of part, and so that's where I'm up to.
Yep.
So at the moment, my writing schedule looks atrocious because before it was actually really disciplined. So when
Mm.
I was writing my first and second book
Yeah.
and my novella as well, I was like obsessively writing. So I would write like every day and just like I would stay up for hours writing,
Yep.
and be like, oh, I want to write this, oh, I want to write that, oh, I want to fix this, or I want to fix that. At the moment, however, I'm like in an incredibly like difficult part of
Yeah.
my third
Mm.
book,
Yep.
and like rethinking a lot of things and reading through and going, is this the book I like? Is this not the book, but is this the story I want to
Yeah.
be telling in this book?
Oh.
Or yes, this is a story I want to be telling, but
Mm.
am I telling it in a way that I'm satisfied with? And so
Oh.
and so now I'm in
Yeah.
a rut, sort of
Yep.
being like,
The
oh,
motivation is
I wanna,
low.
yes. Yeah, the
Mm.
motivation is low because I'm like umming and eyeing, and I'm also like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to rewrite this part, and then I go to rewrite it, and I'm like, actually, no, it's not too bad,
Yeah.
but there's some things I want to change, and yeah,
It's
it's
hard.
just,
Writing is
yeah,
hard. But
yeah,
there's
it
no way
is.
around
It
it.
is
Like it
really
takes a
hard.
lot of mental energy, and I'm sure there is not a day goes by that you're not
Mm,
thinking about
mm.
what you're writing and that
Yeah,
particular plot point that you can't get past. Because I've been there. It happens to me
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time. Oh
yeah,
my God.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
even if it's like in your subconscious though,
Yes.
like there'll be times where I'm thinking, oh, I'm not even thinking about writing, and then suddenly I'm like, oh, that's that's how I solve this plot point.
Yes, it will come to you. It will.
Yeah.
And I think we've been
Yeah.
through that because, you've got the two books in the series beforehand, which is
Mm.
Terra and Sora. Is that right?
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct. Yes,
And
Sarah
then
and
you
Sarah.
have the novella. And I'm sure you had to navigate those challenges
Mm.
through all those publications as well.
Mhm.
So it will come, but it's such a pain
Yeah,
to go through.
it's grueling, right?
It
Like,
is.
and
It
so
is.
like I sometimes like I can pull myself out of the rut, but this one is like a particularly deep rut. And
Mm.
so like, yeah, I don't know. Like, how do you get out of like these sort of
Oh,
ruts?
I give myself a lot of grace to just go, you know what? It's not happening right now, and that's okay.
Mm,
I'm just going
mm.
to do like a sit and think about it, but as much as I can, because then, of course, then I get distracted with the social media and other life and all that stuff.
Yes.
But, art, like it is with the art creative process that we do with writing, because another background of mine is that I studied visual arts at uni. There was a lot of time where it was just dedicated to really just sitting and thinking, doing little
Mm,
bits here and there, but it's not as
mm,
streamlined as a project where you go from A to B or start to finish and it's all
mm,
linear. Like there are times
mm,
where you won't feel like you are putting pen to paper and making progress in a linear
mm,
way. And art isn't like that. It's so much more complex, and the way that we think about things in our brain is so much looser for most people. But of course, it's subjective. Some people very much are the plotters who want to do it in a
yes.
linear way, and that suits them. That could not be me. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
accept that. I accept
Mm,
that sometimes I do need to sit because the ultimate goal is that I do want to enjoy the process and get to the end. I will get to the end eventually, and I don't want to rush it.
mm.
And I think that's another
Yeah.
thing too, is that there's no rush. Just let yourself
Yeah,
enjoy it.
exactly.
It's the
Yeah.
hard part.
And I think that's yeah, I think that's the hard part because like,
Mm.
when I started off in the indie author space, because I knew that I wanted to be an indie author because I was like, I actually want the creative control over my
Yes.
work.
Yes.
Because I had read so many traditional author stories where they were forced to write this or that to be
Yes.
in line with what was popular at the
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like,
Mm.
actually, no, I don't want to have to adapt
Yeah.
my story to please the current trend, sort of thing. I actually want to write a story that I have dreamed of writing
Yeah.
or explore ideas and themes that I think are really important to me,
That's right.
rather than just going with whatever's,
Yeah.
like the spirit
Popular.
of the age at the moment, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
But it all
and so yeah,
changes.
yeah,
Like if you
exactly.
are creating something, and I know a lot of people will, and I know that
Mm,
publishing
mm,
is, in traditionally published spaces, it is about sales, and they expect a return on investment and all that stuff. And if it
mm,
can synergize in a way that honors the creativity and the vision that the author has and with what is expected from the publisher, then that's great. But often there will be compromises. But with
mm.
self-publishing, you kind of don't have to. You don't have to compromise your vision.
Yeah. You
Mm.
own your work and you're the one
Yeah.
who's like selling it and marketing it and everything,
Yes.
which is what I love so much about it because it actually really supports what you talked about that whole creative process, that
Yes.
whole
It
creative
does.
design. It,
Yeah.
it, it's from start to finish
Yep.
something that you can actually control and explore at your own sort of pace. And yeah, I
Yes.
just love that like so much.
Well,
Like,
this is just what life is about, really. Like, there's a reason why we get called to create things if we are so inclined to do so. And
mm,
when I was starting off writing Still Waters Run Deep, which turned into a novel, but I wanted to do a graphic novel to start off with
oh
because I
wow.
felt, yeah, that was where my passions kind of lie in, because I do quite like anime and manga and the cartoonist. Yes, yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. There's like a
Yes, fellow
selection.
weeb.
Exactly. I have a collection of Sailor Moon books over there. That's one of my favorites.
Right, that was
Yeah.
my childhood too. Oh my gosh, the transformations and everything. That's what I used
Love
to
it.
obsessively watch on TV.
The
Like the dub, I used to
transformations.
watch it. Yes.
Yes. Or on
And
YouTube.
yeah.
That was where I would,
Yes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would, but like
Hmm.
I was a kid and I would wake up and watch it like in the
Yes.
morning,
On the
like the
TV.
whole
Yeah.
transformation sequence.
Beautiful.
And that's what made me
Loved
fall
it.
in love with anime. I was just like, wow, this is so
Exactly.
great. This is
It was just,
amazing.
I think we were at the time, and I think probably a lot of people in our
Mm,
generation really
mm.
were, of the Pokemon, Sailor Moon,
Yes.
just trying to
It was
think.
Dragon Ball Z as
Dragon
well.
Ball Z,
Yeah.
that
Oh my
vibe, that
gosh.
was the cartoons that were gravitated because they're so
Yeah.
well done. I think with
Yeah.
Japanese media, there's so much attention to detail and all that stuff. And I really
Yes.
should get more into the animes and mangas that are popular today. It's just I haven't had time to get
Oh.
into it. God, I'm
I
still,
have, I
yeah.
have,
Mm.
I because I'm older now, I'm like
Hmm.
a lot more discerning about
Yep.
what I want to watch.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch I can recommend to you that I think
Oh,
are
great.
actually like they're quality. They're not just,
Quality.
you know how sometimes they just chuck out
Yes.
anime and I'm like, oh, this is the same old rubbish
Oh,
from
yeah.
like
If
this
it's
is
just
the
the
same old isekai, like from something else.
they keep
Like I
having
said,
the
I've been
same filler
watching.
episodes
Yes.
or whatever it is. Oh, I'm
Oh, the
gonna
filler
scream.
episodes. Oh, they
Uh,
were killer. They
yeah,
were
I know
killer.
Naruto used to do that a lot, and I'd just be like,
Oh, a
I'm
lot,
done.
yes.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, I'll look up when do the fillers end?
Yes. When do we get back to the real story?
Yeah,
There is something
yeah,
captivating because they do explore a lot, like the
mm,
universe in its whole
yeah,
entirety. Yeah, it's super cool.
yeah,
So no, I love that you love
yeah.
anime and manga as well.
Yeah, no, I love it because also like in actuality, I guess in a sense, it's kind of like the studio's official sort of fan fiction.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and that was something I sort of delved into while I was growing up too, like fan fiction. When I say fan fiction, though, people are
Ah,
normally like, "Oh, like, did you
I
write
see.
erotic stuff?" And I'm like,
Okay.
"No, no,
No,
I
no,
wrote
there's
stuff
heaps that
like."
isn't.
Yeah, there's heaps
Yeah.
of things. And I think people who are not familiar with the fan fiction space
Mm.
don't recognize
It's a
that, you
stereotype.
can write sort of,
Mm.
yes, it's a stereotype,
Mm.
but you can write like sort of deep stories where like I
Yeah.
would like write like Naruto sort of like anime stories where they
Amazing.
go on an adventure or like they're fighting things and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Or you
Because
insert
like,
a
yeah,
character in that you make, like your
yes,
own character who
yeah,
is part of
yeah,
like, yeah, with like the ninja world with Naruto. Because
yeah,
I used to peruse
yeah,
before. Look, I think as a kid I
yeah.
did get a bit like scared.
Oh,
Like I was a
really?
kid, like I'm
Yeah.
going on to fan fiction, and then there's all this like really smutty stuff. I
Oh,
did
yes.
get very like,
Yes.
oh, I don't want
Yeah.
to, and then I didn't like
Yeah.
continue with it. But I kind of
Yeah.
wish I
Yeah.
did because, as you were saying, there were heaps
Oh,
of other stuff, and people were writing it that
yeah.
wasn't like that, and it was
Yeah.
really
No.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to like filter, like I'd go on fanfiction.net. Like this is how old I am. But like,
No,
I'm
no,
not old, but like I was on it when I was like
yeah.
9, which I shouldn't have been. But
That's
anyways,
probably why I
like
got scared.
yeah, but I used to filter it because I had a filtering system.
Oh, I
And
should
I'd
have
filter
learned.
it like I only want to see G to K was their rating.
Oh,
So
that's
like
the
G was like
rating.
everyone can read it, and then K was like it's safe for kids sort of thing. I don't know
Ah,
why they had that, but okay, they had that. And so I used to
yeah.
filter it based on that. And then
Yes.
when I was a little bit older, I was like, oh, maybe I can push it a bit
Yeah.
and change the filter to
I
teenagers.
love it. I
So
should show some of
yeah.
the I do have like with Naruto, I really enjoyed like
Yeah.
now I
Oh,
do have uh some manga. I have some
good.
figures as
Yeah.
well. I actually, you know
Oh,
what?
you
I'll bring it. I'll
do?
bring hold on.
Yeah, yeah,
Give
yep.
me one
Yeah,
second.
yeah. I'm keen.
Alrighty.
Do you have Itachi? Please tell
Phone's
me.
back in. So
Do you have Itachi? Please tell
yes,
me.
I
Do you
do.
have
I
Itachi?
do. You know
Yes.
why though? Because okay, so I'm also someone
Yeah.
who, and I know not everyone likes the Labubus. Sorry, I was fixing up my
Oh,
chair.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love Labubus as well.
Okay, all right. I actually didn't even know they were a thing
Yeah.
until my friend, because he lives around the North Sydney area. He's like,
Yes.
"Oh, I see it all the time," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay. I
The
didn't know that."
Labubus. I also love Lafufus as
Yeah.
well, the fake ones. They're so
Oh, the fake
evil.
ones? Really?
Love any diabolical one. But so
Oh, yes.
basically with Popmart, they have, I don't know whether you're familiar with the Popmart and like
Popmart. Okay,
the
I haven't
so
explored
it's a
it.
shop where you can get blind boxes and they all come in a set and
Yes.
they all, so you don't know what's inside the
This is a
box, but
dangerous rabbit hole for me. Oh, it's the
oh,
gacha sort of thing. I love
oh,
gacha.
yep, yep. It is like if you go into Pop, I swear I'm going to drain your bank account
Oh,
because you go like because it is there is an
yeah.
addictive quality to it, which is a bit nefarious in my opinion
Yes,
because you
yes,
get
yes, yes. It's
mm,
like gacha. Yep,
yeah,
yep, yep.
you get the box and then
Yes,
you don't know which one's inside, but you know it's one of 12. So there's
yes.
one of 12 characters.
Oh,
Now when I
oh my
first did it,
gosh.
I got is it Sasori? I think this one.
Oh, you got Sasori? Yes, the
Yeah.
puppet one.
Yeah, the puppet
Yes,
one,
I
which I thought was super cool. And then
love
I was with my sister and because there was a full Akatsuki set. And I
Oh
said to her, I was like, I
yes.
think I want to try again because it'd be great if I could get Itachi or I wanted to get like a Kakuzu or,
Oh,
just to
oh,
see what was there.
Kakasu.
And I ended up
Yeah.
getting Itachi and I was like, all right, we're good. No more.
Ah,
No more
it's a
boxes.
sign.
Don't buy
It's a
anymore because I'll keep
sign.
I'll keep trying to get them. But no, so I've got some of
Yeah,
those and I have some
no.
more up there, but I'll save it for another time. But
Oh, I'm
anyway.
just looking at it going, oh my gosh.
Yes,
Okay,
so you
cool.
have a look on
Awesome.
Popmart and then
Oh,
I'm sure you'll
I
find
will.
something.
I will.
Mm,
How
mm.
could you have done this?
I know, sorry. You watch out for that bank
Totally
account.
fine.
It's yeah, because it's
Totally
addictive.
fine. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah,
Mm.
my bank account's already a bit drained because
Mm.
I'm into like cosplaying as well. So
Ah, how
I yeah,
cool.
so I'll dress
Yes.
up and I'll go to like I went to PAX because I also
Oh,
play video
yes.
games. So I went to
Yeah.
PAX in Melbourne. Yes. So I
Oh,
did
wow.
that
That's so
last year
cool.
and I was cosplaying last
Oh,
year. Yeah. So it was a
amazing.
lot of
Who'd you go
fun. Yeah.
as? That's so
So I
cool.
went as like this. So I went as a two video game characters.
Yep.
One is I like Dead by Daylight, which is like this like sort of it's like like a team oriented game. It's like you're
Cool.
versing one player who's a killer and he's
Oh,
trying to kill you, or they're trying to
yeah.
kill you
Yes.
and you're trying to escape. So that's that
Mm.
game. So I played one character from that.
Yeah.
I mean, I dressed
I
up,
dressed up.
and then the other
Yeah.
character I dressed up as is from the game Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It's a really
Oh.
popular French game that came out, and so
Ooh.
I dressed up as one of the characters in that as
That's
well. So
amazing. I'll have to go
yeah.
and see photos if you've got them on Instagram or anything
It
like
is
that.
on my
Yeah. All right,
Instagram.
cool. I'll
Yeah.
have to have a
I
stalk.
was like, this is not author related, but anyways, this is my life.
Well,
Here we go. I'm cosplaying.
I think it's still related to your creative expression because you had to curate the clothing and did you make any of the
Yes.
clothing or did you buy
A
stuff?
little
Yeah.
bit like I
Mm.
like bought like wigs, but I had to
Yeah.
design it myself because the character
Nice.
had like purple through the hair. And so I
Oh,
bought like these extensions and sewed them into the hair really
nice.
badly, but it was my first time learning how to do that.
I would
And
have
then I
no
had
idea.
to like style the wig.
Yeah,
So you have to cut
cool.
it and style it and had to put it on to check if it was, correct with what the
Wow.
character had. And yeah, and then I also like bought like a basic corset thing, and then I had to stitch on some sort of the sort of accessories and decorative
Oh,
parts on it. So
so
yeah, so
that
that
is a
was
creative
fun.
expression. That's awesome. That is
Thanks.
so cool to hear. There you go. We've got all different
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
influences that do come into the writing.
The
So
writing sphere, yeah,
that's it. So
yeah,
I should really
include
get into discussing some of your wonderful publications that you have released over the last couple of years because, first of all, I am obsessed with the covers for both, well, all three of them really, Terra,
yeah,
Sora, and the novella, which is the
yeah.
Dragon Priestess of
Priestess.
Vindend.
Vinden.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of Vinden. Yeah. It's the first book
Mm.
that I've written that has an actual like full title rather than it's just like
Yes.
not like just Terra or
Oh,
Sora.
I,
Yeah.
I think those
Um
are full titles as well, but yeah,
yeah.
yep, yep,
Oh no, I
yep.
meant as in like it's like not just one word sort of thing.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
actually like that because I would thematically choose the words, like try to make it appropriate to the actual story content and
Interesting.
also like the it contextualizes sort of the
Yeah.
place that it's set
Yep.
in the book as well. So
Yeah.
like if I'm so nerdy about etymology and stuff like that, like I get really obsessed with that.
I
But
love it.
like Terra, it has
Yes.
Latin, it's Latin for earth.
Earth. Mm.
And so I intentionally wanted elemental sort of titles.
Yes.
Um, like if you're thinking deeply, which I do too much, but
Absolutely. As
so it's
authors, we have to.
yeah, yeah,
We can't
exactly.
help it.
And because yeah, exactly. And because it's like letters, so you have it's sort of got that empire sort of feeling to it.
Yes.
And so it's set in sort of an important place where there is power situated in that country, sort of thing. So
Mm.
that's the context of it.
Yes.
And then I also have Sora, which is actually Japanese for sky. And
Yeah.
so yeah, and so you have that setting where it's kind of a Asian
Mm.
inspired country, um, and
Interesting.
sort of the explore sort of more the ethereal sort of there's like a sort of spirit side of the book because you have a lot of dragons and stuff like that
Mm.
in that where they explore that connection between the country's like spiritual leader and their connection to the dragons that protected the
Dragons,
land and stuff
mythical
like that. Yeah,
creatures. Yes. So there's elemental
yeah.
magic, is that right? In your
Well,
books or
no, there's actually not any elemental magic.
oh
I like the theme
yes.
of sort of um like they connected together in the books but they still like represent like important aspects of the book.
Yeah.
So like you have Terra, which is earth, but it was about like so the characters kind of lost and hopeless and sort of trying to find a way in which to ground themselves, sort of thing.
The
So like
grounding.
yeah, and
Hmm.
then you have characters in Sora that are sort of struggling with a lot of sort of spiritual stuff
Yeah.
and how in which which they come to terms or whether they come to terms with those things or not, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that's
So that's
it.
Sora.
That's
Yeah.
really interesting, no, about those themes because I did want to
Mm,
ask you a little bit more about
mm,
your first book with Terra and how you
yeah.
did write on your Goodreads, which I found quite
Mm,
profound, what you wrote
yeah.
here, which is if you are looking for a dark dystopian where the FMC, female main character, struggles
Mm,
against suffering and evil while
mm,
never losing sight of hope and goodness, this book is for you. So I do want to
yeah.
ask you, why was it so important for you to have a focus on hope and goodness in your writing? Because I find that really, really
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah, because I think like currently, so at the time when I was writing, a lot of the things that were really popular at the time was actually grim dark. So you
Mm.
had like Game of Thrones and stuff. So I actually started writing this book when I was 18. And now I'm like in my 30s. Yes, it took me a very long time to finish
No
this
shame
book.
in that.
It was
No shame.
my first book, and it took me that long because I did the whole stuck in a rut, put
Yep.
it on the back burner, and just like, it was in the back of my mind.
Mm.
And I was thinking, how do I write this and finish this? But anyway, so I started writing it when I was 18. And actually, and I had finished high school. And so it was during like a particularly dark sort of period of my life. And a
Mm.
lot of the media at the time that was really popular was grim dark. And so a lot of sort of hopeless stuff.
Yeah.
Game
Yeah.
of Thrones was super popular. People really liked that whole gritty darkness where they were like, "Oh yeah, this is so realistic. Everything's depressing,"
Mm. Yes.
and I was
Mm.
struggling with a lot of that sort of. I was struggling with depression and
Mm.
everything, and
Mm.
I was looking for some sort of hope. So,
Yeah.
like Tara really explores that sort of dark aspect. Um, and it is pretty gritty and dark, and so like I struggled with that whole, like I want it to be gritty and dark, but
Mm.
I also want, like what I really want is to find hope,
Yeah.
because I was struggling with that in my personal life. And so I dug a bit deep with Terra. So Terra, I've been told, is like it's kind of quite sad,
Yep.
and there's a lot of sort of those themes that sort of go through it.
Yeah.
um And I had like I've had like a close friend who doesn't read any
Yep.
of this sort of stuff. And she gave it a try and she was like, oh my gosh, I was so scared. Like it was
Oh,
so sad and it was
wow.
dark. Well,
Yeah.
because she normally reads so she typically reads like children's books sort of
Yep.
things. Like she doesn't read like the
Yep.
older
Mm-hmm.
dark stuff because she
Mm.
just wants to enjoy her life. And I get that. I
I
get
get,
that.
yeah,
I
I
totally get
understand.
that. And so for me, yeah, it was a real grappling with how do I
Mm.
hold on to hope
Yeah.
when I'm sort of in the pits of despair sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really tried to channel that through the book and through my character.
Wow.
Um, and but I really wanted to reach that ultimate goal at the end where actually, there is hope even when it seems really hopeless.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, and to never sort of give up is the sort of thing I want to go to, even when you're facing that hopelessness face to face, when you're face to face with it.
Mm.
Um, I wanted to, yeah, sort of make the point that you know,
Mm.
there is still this well within you that
Yeah.
holds on to hope, and you can cling to that even when you're facing utter hopelessness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I think that we need more of that. I think we need more
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. And I think it's a
Yeah.
persistent theme because I know that, like, current political and geopolitical
Mm, mm,
things going on right now, but
yes.
there's never been a time of real peace. And I think
Yeah.
that the more that we really start to remember
Mm,
that there is peace and there is joy in times
mm,
where it doesn't seem like it, that
mm,
people really need
mm,
that. I think it's more powerful than we give
yeah,
it credit for to
mm,
explore that stuff
mm.
because it really does give people a sense of something to look forward to in times where things can be pretty tough.
Exactly. And so I like, and that was like, I guess the great struggle with writing the book is I wanted to write it in a way that I was happy with conveying, like, even when things are absolute doo-doo, like it's
Mm,
just so bad. Like you're like,
mm.
how can we come back from this?
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, the human mind is actually so powerful
Yes.
and amazing that
Yeah.
you can actually overcome absolute adversity, like no matter what you face.
You see it time and
Yeah,
time again.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That people can pull through, even when they face their absolute lowest.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what I really wanted to achieve. I know it's not going to be like how other people like. So I've had people say they loved it, and had other people say, actually, I thought it would have been better if this sort of thing happened, sort of thing. I'm like,
That's subjective.
actually, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so everyone's experiences and how they get through a dark period is really different, and how they
Yes.
face it is really different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wanted to explore the sort of way in which I sort of crawled out of that dark hole myself. Yeah.
I love that. And I think there's
Yeah.
always going to be sometimes there will be media that doesn't hit at the time because you go,
Mm.
oh, this is too close to home or,
Yeah.
for such and such. But also it can be a chance to think about it and realize that there is hope at the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. And
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of this movie that I watched recently. And it's I think it was released last year. It was called If I Had
Yeah.
Legs, I Would Kick You
Oh,
or something like that. I don't know whether you, I know it's
what a
it's
name.
funny because like the name itself I can't get over because it is like hilarious, but I will say it is not a funny movie.
Oh
Like it's quite
no.
dark, but I
Um,
loved it. I thought it was so, and it's not for everyone because it is quite intense. And I wouldn't say it's a horror, but there are
yeah.
some elements that are intense. And basically, it's about parental guilt and
Oh.
dealing with things that are just like one after another and you can't get on top of it. But yet at the very end of the movie, and this maybe if you are planning to watch it, I'm trying not to
Mm.
spoil anything.
No
There,
spoilers. Yeah.
no spoilers, but there
Yeah.
is this moment of hope, and that's where it ends. And then the audience is just left with this, like, I felt very much like after all of that trauma, this is a little bit of a moment to go,
Yeah.
there's hope.
Yeah.
There's hope. But I
Thank
think
good.
with
It's
the
like thank goodness. Yeah.
yes, thank goodness. And
Mm,
I thought that was
mm,
really well done. But
mm,
I think the whole if I had legs, I would kick you is like a metaphor for like if I had the tools to fix something, I would kind of thing. Like
mm.
that's sort of, I think that's what, but the title does crack me up. I was,
Yeah, that does crack me up. It's
I
like
know. Yeah.
a anime movie that was actually really depressing, but it was
Mm,
called like I Want to Eat Your Pancreas or something like that.
mm,
And I was like,
cool.
what? What is that? And it was actually a very depressing movie. And I was like,
Oh, I
oh,
want to
okay.
eat your pancreas. Yeah, love that. Just
Kind of
whatever
crazy.
floats your boat, really.
Uh,
God, no, but that's
yeah.
interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, no,
Look into
exactly.
that. But no, I love that. And I think hope
Yeah.
and goodness is always something that I think people do gravitate towards
Mm. Yeah.
overall, even in times where
Yeah.
there is a lot of darkness. So, yeah, we need to read more of that
Yeah.
stuff if that really.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because that actually I love that when like I love like the whole grappling with dark themes and
Yeah.
ideas, but I do love that sort of it's like a release where they
Yes.
have that hope come out. Like, and I actually feel like when I like you were talking about that movie where it
Mm,
ends with that hopefulness at the very end after all of the suffering, kind
mm,
of like reminds me of like this anime movie called like A Silent Voice. I
mm.
really enjoyed it. There was like so much suffering and darkness and grappling with difficult things.
Yeah.
But at the very end, you have that hope, and the character just starts bawling their eyes out. And I was
Yeah.
like bawling my eyes out. I
Because
was
you're like, I
bawling my eyes
wanted
out.
that release that's there.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm
it's
like,
amazing.
thank goodness. But yeah, we need those sort of things because like,
Yep.
yeah, can't have everything ending in a grim dark way. It's like,
No.
okay, I know life, I know
Yeah.
people want realism, but let's be real, like this stuff it's a
Yeah.
means in which we can escape things as
Yes.
well.
And that's
So
what you
you
want to
need to
tell. Mm.
yeah, you need to provide that sort of escape
Mm.
for people as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it is
Yeah.
dark, I think that it would be better, like, of course, if that is the avenue that you want to go down and explore the
Mm.
real depths of it, I think that there are some really great nuanced ways to do that. But I think the ones that
Mhm.
I gravitate towards do have hope in it
At the end,
overall.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So with
Totally get it,
your
yeah.
current book that you're working on, which I'm guessing is the,
Mm.
as you alluded to before, it's the third book in the
It's
Terra
the
and
third book. Yeah,
mm.
and I've actually announced what it's
Oh,
called on my social media, and it's actually so I had to name it like it couldn't just be the one word because
yes.
I thought no one's gonna know what this word is because like I'm
Oh,
obsessed with etymology, so I was
yeah.
like, okay, I actually have to name it something so people can understand contextually what the book is about and
Yeah.
also like the whole elemental
Yes.
thematically. So
Yeah.
it's called the Hellfires of Nar, which is
Oh.
yeah, so it's gonna be one of those really dark and hard stories but has that overarching hope in it again sort of thing.
Love it.
But like it's set in a very tough society where
Yeah.
things are very rigid and difficult, especially for like women and children.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a yeah, just it's exploring that sort of difficult space again,
Yeah.
where the characters, like the main female character, is really grappling
Yeah.
with this issue. And they have the option of either they turn it's kind of like that typical
Yeah.
I just turn completely to the dark side and wreak havoc
Mm.
sort of thing, um against like pushing against this
Yes.
horrible oppression that
The
I'm
regime.
enduring, or
Mm.
I find a different avenue, that really narrow avenue of hope and
I see
overcoming
that.
the sort of obstacles in which they're facing. And it's like such a narrow avenue that sometimes you don't see it really. And
Yeah,
yeah, so it's
yeah.
that sort of thing. You don't see it, and so you lose that hope because you're like, I can't do
Can't see
anything.
it. And
And
how do
so
you
yeah,
find
so
it?
yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And so yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one to write
Yep.
because of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like how do I write this in a real sort of way in which people can see that it's so impossible and difficult?
It's hard. And I'm sure it gets you
Yeah.
down when you're writing it too,
Yeah.
because you're like, I don't want to sit in this space forever. Oh,
Exactly. That's why I have like the side quests, right? So I have
yes.
like sort of side plots that provide some levity.
Yes.
I learned from Tara that you got to weave in some levity, and
Yeah,
so which as an indie author, you're learning things as you write,
that's
and so my first
right.
book was like a big learning experience, and I
Yeah.
learned like from the feedback I got that people were like, "Yeah, I need a little bit of levity," and I was like, "You know what? I got you. I understand now," and
Noted.
so like
Put that
yeah,
in.
I'm weaving some levity through it, like
Yeah.
through like the sort of side characters and the side plots and stuff like that. And so
Yes.
uh I'm loving that, but I'm currently like in a part, like the part that I love is like exploring all these different plot lines
Yeah.
because I'm a planter. So
Yes.
I plot and I also pants.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
I have an overarching plot, not pot, plot, and I have an overarching plot
Yep.
and several side plots that I've
Yes.
plotted out. Um, and and they will come together.
Yeah.
The pantsing part is when I'm actually writing out these plots.
Yes.
And so the characters feel natural and real to me because sometimes I'll write something and I'll be like, "Ugh, why
Why
did they
did
react like
yeah,
that?
why'd I do
Why
that?
did I why did I write it like that?" And then I'm like, no, actually, that feels really real to their character. Like,
Yes.
so some of the characters really just come to life. Some of them I really love, and some of them I'm like, you are so difficult.
Yes.
As
And
in,
it
like,
comes that
as in, like,
way.
yeah.
Mm.
As in, like, I'm like, I don't really like you. But like sometimes it happens like that. But it's like you still like them because they're your
Oh,
creation.
but
But like,
we
yeah.
love all our children. We love all our
Yeah,
children.
exactly. Love our children, warts and all. Like
That's
I have like
right.
yeah, I have like villains I write. And
Yes.
my dad, he reads my books and he'll
Yeah.
just be like, this person was so awful. Why didn't you just kill them? And I'm like, I love them.
You got to have the jewel. There's a reason why you can't let go of them like that. No, I love that so your
Exactly.
dad reads your books. Do your siblings
Yeah,
read
my
them
dad.
as well?
Yeah, my sister who's like she's 16 now.
Okay.
So she's allowed to read. Yeah, there's a big age
Yes.
gap between us, but
Yeah.
yeah, so she's allowed to read my books because they have dark themes and stuff like that.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
She can read them, but my youngest sister, she doesn't
No.
read my books. Also, she doesn't really read anyway. She likes
Oh.
kicking a ball around, so I'm
Oh,
like, that's fine.
that's fine.
Yeah, so
Eventually,
yeah,
maybe down the
yeah,
track. But no,
exactly.
I love
Yeah,
that. I love
yeah.
when family gets involved. My mum was definitely a big help for creating
Oh, I love
Stillwater's Run
that.
Deep. Yeah, she was like the first person I told that I was writing, and we were doing it well, I was writing it during the lockdowns and things like that. So when we could catch up and go for a walk, I'd give her a chapter to read and all that stuff. So having a
Oh,
family element to it is, yeah, I think that's really special. So I'm really glad to hear that your
yeah.
family members love your books too.
Yeah, I love that so much that
Oh,
you can
yeah.
share something
Yes.
with someone that you feel like you can be vulnerable with because
Absolutely.
because
Yeah.
your writing, sharing your writing is actually like really vulnerable. It's like
Oh, it
you're just
is. I was
opening yourself
scared.
up. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
you're opening yourself up for
Yeah.
people to sort of analyze and
Yes.
critique and pull apart. And you're
Exactly.
just like, please be gentle.
That's right.
Please.
And I will say that my mum will be, she won't necessarily like hype me up in the sense of like, that's just not what we need in that sense. Like, of course,
Yeah.
she'll never be rude about it or anything like
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
very like purposeful in the feedback. And I was like, wow, amazing. And then when I
That's
gave
so
my book
good.
to, oh, I loved it. And I gave the draft to some other close friends of mine and was
Mm.
just blown away with the feedback that they gave me, who aren't necessarily fantasy readers as well. But yeah,
Best
shout out to
part.
them. It was beautiful,
That
beautiful that
that
experience.
that
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
so invaluable, by the
it
way. Like
was.
for an indie
Oh,
author to have people that you're
yes.
close to, and
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't read, and
Yes.
even if they don't read fantasy or like whatever genre you're writing, like, but you feel safe enough to let them read your stuff,
That's it.
give it to them, because they can give you that perspective that you could be missing,
Yes.
and give you
Different
suggestions.
perspective.
Um, Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like I had that too, where
Mm,
like so with my novella, like I'm learning
yes.
so much, right? But with my novella, I had actually a lot of people speak into it. Like I had a lot of feedback from people. And you know what? As an indie author as well, you gotta be that like you talked about discernment, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta be discerning
Mm,
about the feedback you get. So you can be
yes.
like, actually, I love what you have to say, but that is not what I'm actually aiming for
Yes.
with this story. And so I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, sort of thing. But it could also be like, wow, I love what you said. And that makes so much sense. I've got to find out a way to incorporate it in a way that makes sense with my world and my writing and everything. And,
So
that's one of the things I love about writing that you
yeah.
have. Um, like when you are vulnerable with people by sharing it that they that they like become
Oh,
like your support
beautiful.
network and they're like cheering you on, but they also like like you said about your mom, she's
Yeah.
just like she's helpful, she's intentional, and she's
That's it.
constructive. That's what you
Constructive.
want. You want,
Yes.
yes, that's what you
Yeah.
want. You want someone that you know is going to be real with you and
Real.
give you that feedback and the push that you need
Yeah.
to like really polish your work. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so
Yeah.
special to find people like that. And I'm really glad that you have people like that in your community as well. So, are you friends with a few different indie authors yourself?
Yes, yeah. I'm friends with a few indie authors and I appreciate them so much. Like I want to shout out one of my indie authors. She's great. Her name's her author name is J.M. Voss. So she
Oh,
actually won
yes.
a real a Realis
I
award.
know.
Yeah,
I
for her
know
science
J.M.
fiction
Voss.
book. Yeah,
I
she's
do.
great. She's so
Yes.
fantastic. Have you had her on this podcast?
I have not, but I have
I would
met
recommend
her
her.
a few times, and we
Oh,
were chatting
yeah.
again. We just saw
Yeah.
each other recently at the Melbourne
Oh,
Book Fair Australia, and she came up to
oh,
me, and I was
good.
like, "I remember you from when we were at that we did an event last year together." And
Yeah.
I have her book sitting over there, the
Oh, love it.
Temporal Boom. Yes,
Yes,
she's
I love that
awesome.
so much. Her book is so great, especially if you want a bit of levity, because she has that super Aussie humor
Yeah.
that just sort of flows through it.
Yes.
Like, and also like I know some people they they find it difficult to read like books set in Australia or like movies set in Australia. They're just like, what? This is
What?
too close to home. Yeah, I know
No.
people like that. Like I actually recommended it to my mom because I was like, this
Yes.
is such a good book. It's so great. But my mom was like, I can't. It's like talking about Mildura, and I just like it.
Too close to home.
She's like,
Why are we
yeah,
like that as
I
Aussies?
don't
I don't
know.
know why we're so like
Like, oh, it's so
self-hating.
cringe. Yeah. Why are we so self-hating? I loved it. I like Mildura. That's sick. Yeah,
Why not?
that's
It makes
what.
sense. We want to see. I think
Okay.
because we've got this association with Australian culture being a bit like, well, to put it stereotypically, the bogan aspect. It's not super
Yes.
glamorous and all that kind of
The
stuff. But it's
ochre sort of.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
mate.
Like, come on, let's just stop worrying about that because there's a lot.
Exactly.
I love a lot of Australian media, even like the TV show, and I'm not sure whether you've seen it, Deadlock, which is a comedy,
Oh, I
well,
haven't
but it's
actually.
actually like a dark comedy, and it's set in
Oh,
Tasmania.
yeah.
Anyway, looking
Yeah.
ahead into the
Yeah.
future, are you going to be at any book events?
Oh, yes, I am going to
Mm.
be at a couple of book events. So, like I said, I shouted out my indie author friend Jane Voss. We're actually going to be at Sydney Supanova together. We're sharing a table, so I'm super excited for that. I actually because I shared a table with her. Oh, well, I was her neighbor at Clunes
At
actually last
Clunes,
year. Yeah, that's where
yeah.
we met, and
That's
it
where
was
you
so
met.
good, so
Yeah.
lovely. So I can't wait to share a table and just see what sort of zany activity happens on the day. I don't know what's happening at the Supernova or who's going to be there, but I'm
Yeah.
so keen.
Are you going to
And like,
cosplay as well?
oh, I could. I'm like,
Cool.
oh, I really want. I do want
That'd
to,
be
but at the same
cool.
time, I'm like, is this too much? Like,
It's up to
but
you.
yeah,
Too much to think
yeah,
about. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I
Mm.
know. So,
Yeah.
but that is, I think, I can't remember the dates for Sydney Supernova,
Yeah,
but it is,
maybe I'll have to have a quick look because that's super cool. Oh, June,
no,
June.
yeah,
I
it's
think
in
it
June.
says
Yeah,
June
it's in June.
19 to 21. Are you doing all 3 days? Is that right?
Y-
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Oh, it's
Wow.
3 days. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't
Whew.
even, I forgot about that.
Now
You just
remembering.
reminded me, oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm
But
reminding you.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. But
Wow. Wow. Wow.
also,
Wow.
yeah, that's a bit full on. But also, I am going to be at the Gold Coast Supernova. I'm trying that out for the first time. So that's
Yay.
actually next month,
Next month.
actually, like
Yes.
really soon, in like
That's the
2 or 3
April
weeks.
one. Yeah.
Yes, so I'm going to Gold Coast Supernova, and then straight after that, the week after, I'm going to the Melbourne Supernova. So, yeah, so
So
it's
you're
a
in
bit full.
Melbourne too?
Yeah, so I'll be in Melbourne. If you
Amazing.
pop in,
I'll have to
I'll say hi.
try. I
I'll say hi,
will.
but maybe I should cosplay. I don't know. Let me know
I
if you're
think you
coming,
should.
and I'll cosplay.
Well, on the 18th, because I know that's the Melbourne Supernova, on the 18th of
Yeah.
April, I am at another book event, which is called A Thousand Lives Book
Oh,
Convention.
wow.
So, look, I'll
Okay.
have to see because I know that that's the Saturday. I mean, I could go
Mm,
to the Sunday to Supernova. We'll just see.
okay. You
I
know
will
what?
see.
You know what? No
I'll
stress,
see.
no stress. Because I'm
We'll
like, there's
see.
so many
Yeah, I
book
need to
fair things going
go.
on as an indie author,
Haven't
but like
been for a
it's so
while.
hard.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
There's so many
it's so hard.
events and they
Mm,
take a lot out of you sometimes. But
yes, they do.
Supernova is one thing that I think I should really consider going to because I think the vibe matches. I think our writings are
It's
very
excellent.
similar. So
Yes.
let me make
Yeah,
a note to
it's
try and get there.
excellent. And like as a tip for indie authors, yeah, make sure that you make connections and not just connections like oh yeah, how's it going sort of thing. Like connections
No.
as in like get to know each other
Get to know each
because like
other.
having some friends in the indie space is really great.
It's
And you
awesome.
can support each other and stuff. And then you can like
Yeah.
book tables together. Because
Exactly.
it is very expensive. So yeah,
Yeah.
looking to the future, I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing, and I've learned so much from
Yeah.
my journey.
Oh, it's
You just pick up
incredible.
so many things, but
You do.
it's just yeah,
Yeah.
it's been wonderful. Like when I'm not in it, I dread it a bit because I'm like, oh, I have to talk to people,
I
and then
know.
when I'm in it, I actually enjoy
Yeah,
it.
it's like, why did I dread that? But it is the duality of being the introverted writer, but then you have to put
Yeah,
on the extroverted cap of
yeah.
being the entity of
Marketing,
yourself and
yeah,
selling
your
the book.
marketing and everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why it's so easy. Like just talking to you right now is so
Oh,
easy too. Like
well,
it's so nice.
I think we
So
get it.
yeah,
We see each other
yeah,
with that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
no,
yeah.
absolutely, I feel the same. So for people that do maybe want to reach out to you or
Mm.
get in contact with you, where can people find you on social media? And also, where can people buy your books?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, on social media, you can easily reach me through Instagram, or you can even reach me through X as
Yep,
well. I'm also on Facebook as well. So I try to cover a bunch of social media. Yeah, you can reach me through there. All of my tags, like my author tags, are always just E.Solofoni, so it makes
perfect.
it easier to find me anywhere. That's just it everywhere because no one has a name like mine. So thank goodness, unique names.
Very
But
good.
yeah, if you can find me on there, or you can find my website, which is like esolofoni.com.au. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Unless it's gone now, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so you can. I actually have like a little contact me sort of page there.
yep,
You can just sit, and it goes straight to my email. So yeah, you can reach me through there. My books are available at the conventions I go to. It's also available to order on my website, but also available on Amazon if you're like international as well. Because I know a lot of Aussie authors actually end up having international readers and stuff.
do.
So yeah, I'm on Amazon as well. If that's your preference,
Yep,
my novella is actually available on Kindle Unlimited if you have that a subscription. So yeah, if you want to just dip your toe
yes.
into
To
my
the
writing
world.
style and the world as well, I
Mm,
would actually highly recommend my novella.
yes,
It is the third thing I've written, so I've learned a lot. And so you can kind of see how much I've developed as an author through that, and also, yeah, see if you enjoy the world or how I write as well. you can check that out. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, with that, I should say a formal thank you, Ellie, for providing all of your incredible insights into your writing process, being an indie author, chatting about all things to do with your creative spirit. I've thoroughly enjoyed it so much, and I know people listening will get a lot out of it. So, thank you for dedicating this time to chatting with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Monica, for having me. It's been a blast talking to you.
Thank you so much for watching the Indie Author Live show. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you want to know more about my own literary journey or the journey of some of our guests that you might have seen on the show, please consider subscribing or following my Substack or my YouTube channel. Finally, if you want to know more about my novel, Still Waters Run Deep, it is available on many distribution websites such as Amazon, Etsy, Baventi, you name it. All that information will be in the show notes if you're interested in learning more about my story to do with elemental magic and coming of age. Take care, everyone, and see you in the next episode.